Well, how about that? That was my very talented second cousin, Leah Shaw, who's a daughter of my first cousin, Scott Shaw, who's the son of Uncle Danny. So welcome to the show. Thank you for stopping in. It's April 30th. We've been through this lockdown for about a little over a month now. So I think we're getting a little edgy on it. That's my kind of take on it. It's getting kind of old. It's not novel anymore. But yeah, that is Leah Shaw. Jennifer got a new microphone. A new camera, and it looks like it's hooked up and working pretty good. And she's waiting on deck here. So we're going to bring up Jennifer to see what's going on in Indio, California.
Well, hello, Patrick.
Hey there. Look at that beautiful house behind you.
Can you hear me?
Oh, really good. Good picture. Good.
Perfect.
Looking good.
That's my dirty office behind you.
Yeah, it looks pretty dirty to me.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure I could get on. I'm going to go ahead and leave. I've got stuff to do in the kitchen, but thank you for checking this for me, Patrick.
No, you're looking good. Looks actually better than ever.
Thanks, honey.
Okay, well, I'm going to drop the link to so we can get the party started. I see David and Janice and Dawn. Good to see you. I don't know who else is out there. That's the only people who typed in. So, chewy, beautiful day up here, but the pollen is just like snowing outside. So, might get a sneeze or two out of me, but I apologize in advance. So, how's everyone else doing? Beautiful, like I said, a beautiful sunny day up here in Crescent City, California. Although the pollen is, it was like raining pollen for a minute, and I'm surprised I'm not dying right now, but it's actually not so bad. So I think we've gone past a month on this coronavirus lockdown, or in that ballpark, and how we doing out there? How we making it through? Ready to get out yet? Ready to Here we go. Thank you, David Dietz. Thank you, David Dietz.
Hello, Schmitty.
How you doing, David?
I'm doing well. I got a little input today.
What is it?
Well, they closed the beaches, I guess, Gavin Newsom, and the word around Huntington Beach and Newport Beach is go screw yourself. We're not closing them.
Interesting.
So there's a little pushback, I believe.
Do you think
the
there'll
other
be
thing's kind of interesting today. A lot of on my friends list, and they made a good point. You're starting to see people that have businesses are starting to criticize. What makes Home Depot essential? And I've even had some pastors of churches say, Home Depot has as many people in their building as my church would have. Why are they essential and my church is not? Chris and I went to Home Depot today to get some decomposed granite, which certainly is not essential. And the whole nursery was just packed full of people, getting, flowers and shrubs and plants. And, I don't know that was originally why they were going to keep the hardware stores open. I thought it was mostly for, emergency situations, if you had a plumbing leak or electrical problem. But I don't know. It seems odd.
We got Julia Childs III coming on camera.
I just thought I'd get on and might as well just chop my little vegetables while I'm standing here.
I like that. I like it. Hello, Scott. Good to see you. Beautiful daughter, Leah. I found her link to her video, so I'll probably be posting.
Oh yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
that beautiful.
Good? What are you guys talking about?
Hi, Donnie.
Oh,
Hi.
same old jibber jabber. Trying to not get too down and dirty. But the coronavirus, David was saying in Orange County that the beach city. Go ahead. The beach cities just said no. We're going to keep our beaches open. Is that what you're saying, David?
Yeah, they're actually going to go against the governor and say, you know what, we don't believe we believe that we kept our social distancing last weekend and that there's no reason to shut the beaches down.
Good to see Danny Wells. I'm hoping someone will be able to tell me that. It's kind of obscure, but some people have been there. I can almost promise you.
That is the falls in Lotto Creek.
Very good eye, David. Very good eye.
I believe some people have lost their lives on the top of that fall.
Yep, I think so. What's the name of them? I forgot the name.
They want to be like Lost Falls or. I've been there.
Forest Falls. I don't know. Is that Forest Falls?
It wasn't Forest Falls. Forest Falls is up towards Yucaipa, that area. This was that's the one in Lotto Creek. There's just one long fall like that.
Yep. Good eye, David Dietz. What's going on in Chico today, Donnie? Is it hot?
Yeah, it's hot. We have a lot going on here, and it's hot, and the kids are not doing school, and we just had to get a dead chicken out of the chicken coop, and it was dead on top of the eggs. It was very sad. It was a little stiff, so I think it happened yesterday, and the kids were very sad about that. So I had to put her in a little box, and we're going to give her a little burial tonight when Nick gets home with the shovel.
That's a good idea.
So,
Yeah.
so the chicken didn't have any signs of trauma or anything, huh?
No, So we have been giving them scraps, and there was a moldy batch of strawberries, probably too moldy. Could have been mold. I don't know. We try not to throw the moldy food out to the chickens too much, but it does get out there every once in a while, so it could have been that.
When you have chickens, they die once in a while. It's part of the
Yeah, true. Circle of life.
circle of life. I have one that's over 7 years old now.
Oh wow, still laying eggs?
I don't know.
It's hard to tell which one's doing which one's
I,
don't.
I think in the commercial chicken farms, I don't think they keep those chickens much more than a year. I think they turn them over every year.
Yeah, they start slowing down after about 4 or 5 years, but they're still cute.
No, mine have a home for life, but they still lay eggs way after a year. I know that. But I get
Yeah,
tons of
oh
them.
yeah, at least
Oh,
like 4
yeah,
or 5 years.
but you know, in a commercial chicken farm, they're trying to get the very most production out of them. You know, so they.
Well, they're fucking assholes. That's what
Well,
they are.
yeah.
Hey there. Hey there.
Sorry, Isabel.
Thank you. What, as Byron would say, Isabel, Isabel, Isabel. Did you ever hear that one?
Oh yeah, all the time. Oh, Isabel. Oh, Isabel.
Yes. You remember that one, don't you, David?
Oh, yeah. I want to tell. I almost said, Trina, sit down, would you?
Oh, and I think you might have. Did you send my shirt today? I want to say thank you.
We did. It's in the mail.
All right.
In the mail. And
I look forward to it.
Chrissy said 3 days. Max.
Awesome. Lovely. I will wear it if the show is still around. When I get it, I will definitely pop it on and represent DAD's construction.
Cool.
You got some big boobs going on there. If I don't say myself, what's going on with that?
Yeah.
Thank you for acknowledging.
Yeah. I got to get the right camera angle.
That's it. Like I said, these cameras add 20 pounds in 10 years.
Hey, you know what, Smitty?
What? So what? I know. You don't care. So, what's a good question for today? What's going on here?
Okay, we should take a vote to see if anyone thinks that this could look like you a little bit, Patrick. Wait, let me get the camera.
Yeah, I think so.
It's fun, right?
I think so. Yeah, I like it.
I looked at that mustache and I was like, that's my cousin Patrick.
Hey, Johnny, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Have you started making any wine with your grapes?
No, this is the Hurt Weekend harvest. So we put them in the ground as babies, and that was 3 years ago. And they have to mature now, so we can harvest them this fall.
Yeah. You have plans to make wine with them?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
It's just going to be we're called, we have a name of our vineyard. It's called Shit Show Vineyards. And we're going to be making a blend of all the reds. And we have about 12 rows of grapes. We'll get about a barrel of wine if we're lucky.
Oh, nice.
We'll see what happens.
What is a barrel? What is a barrel? Like 1,000 bottles?
No, not that many. You don't get 1,000 bottles out of a barrel, right? You would probably, I think, by 100 bottles, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, that's probably easily Googleable. I don't really know off the top of my head.
So you got your barrels ready to go?
No.
Want to go buy some oak barrels somewhere?
Nothing ready to go. We got. I got a book. I bought a book.
Does Nick drink whiskey?
What?
Or does Nick drink spirits like
Yeah.
the hard
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah. He drinks vodka, but whiskey makes his stomach hurt, so he doesn't drink whiskey. He's a fucking pussy. He doesn't drink whiskey.
Gotta make bad vodka. It's not that hard.
Yeah. Sorry, my mushrooms are being very loud.
I don't hear them. So, question. Are you glad you have 2 dogs instead of 1?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. The dogs are the best. I love our dogs. Yes, they're so happy.
But 2 dogs is better than 1 dog. Would you agree?
Yes, I would agree. Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
All right.
We go to, I think Damien and Meg are filling orders today.
Oh.
So that's always fun for the first, the first 1,000 times. It's kind of fun.
Hey, if Meg's watching, I'll tell her I got her essential oil display log done for her.
You gotta mute my microphone because of my mushroom.
Mm. Let me drop that link again.
You could mute me, Patrick.
What, want me to mute you?
Yeah, just because of
Done.
Don't have to ask me twice.
Just like that. How about 6? I'm not sure what that means. How about 6? Anyways, what's going on down there, David? You didn't work today. Another day of no work for Dietz.
My van's still in the shop. My van is still in the shop. They called me, said they put a new power steering pump in, the second new one, and they said it was still doing it, that they had to maybe look into something wrong with the steering gearbox. So I'm supposed to hear back today.
That's no fun. Those can get pricey, can't they?
Especially on that Mercedes Sprinter van. It's everything you do on it's pricey.
And it's a diesel?
It's a diesel, yeah.
Yep, they're pricey. They're pricey like a Pisces.
Yeah.
Oh, how about $6?
I wouldn't trade the gas mileage for anything, but
No, I agree. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I have a little Nissan, and then I have a 2,500 diesel, and it gets better gas mileage with 1,000 pounds in the back than my Nissan does, empty.
no, my big van gets almost 10 miles to gallon more than my Toyota truck does.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. But I see you should have got a Transit. Danny Wells said. Kurt's in the house. Good to see you, Mr. Kurt Shaw. So you ready? What are you going to do tomorrow night around 8 o'clock, Donnie? What's going on in your world?
You have to unmute her.
Oh,
You have to unmute her.
I'm gonna get Jeff Hauk on this show.
what's that?
I'm gonna get Jeffrey Hauk on this show.
Well, on the other show, not this
Yeah,
show.
the other show. On the other show. Yeah.
I would love to see Jeffrey Hawk come up on there.
Oh, he's great. He's awesome.
He's another very interesting, opinionated, intelligent guy.
Yeah.
I agree. We need more of those. We've only got one or two. And if Brandon's not here, we're in trouble.
I know, right? We gotta get Brandon on again.
No,
Brandon had a question for you today, didn't he? Or a comment?
oh yeah, for me.
Yeah, something about picking and choosing which laws to enforce.
Yeah. Is that a good idea? I don't know, but isn't that kind of what happens?
I think it does, and I think depending on where you live, they pick and choose kind of how much they enforce. I'm not sure that they completely don't enforce laws, but I can certainly see that some enforce different parts of the law stronger than other areas do.
No, I think law enforcement, and sometimes we like that when they decide not to give us a ticket because my smile's so pretty. So
Yeah, I don't think that's going to be the case.
no, I always get the ticket.
No, but I'm thinking in rural areas, if you had a gun in your car, I think they would kind of give you a slap on the wrist and tell you don't do that. And inner cities, you're going to get arrested for it.
No, I think the one, those are all tough questions. I don't really like it that necessarily law enforcement picks and choose, but I think that's what they do. That they make priority, and the sheriff kind of has a lot of say in that. But like I said, we're in a unique position up here. I don't think anybody right now, we don't know, but
It's funny too. I think in smaller towns, it's the hierarchy is kind of different. Sometimes the sheriff is the ultimate. That's where it ends. And some bigger cities, it's the mayor, and sometimes it's the city council who'll tell the police chief what he's going to enforce and what he's not.
Yes, I agree. I agree. What's going on in your mind, Donnie? What's going on?
Oh, I was just having a question to of other people with children. Charlie found out about the one-child policy in China, and was very upset about that and didn't know how much detail to share. What would you guys say you should share to a 9-year-old kid about that?
That's way out of my pay grade.
Yeah, it's a hard one.
I would say there's a whole lot of little girl Chinese that have been adopted in throughout the different countries because of that law. You know, when they say one child, you know, most of the Chinese are looking for a son.
Yep.
So a lot of the girls end up getting adopted out, which, you know, is probably good for a lot of families that don't have kids.
The truth actually is they would kill them and then leave them in the side of the market, and
Some
they
of
would
them, yeah.
actually let them die. And so it's really actually quite terrible. So we had to like skim over all that stuff. But, you know, she's very interested in human rights and animal rights and things like this. And at 9 years old is when I started becoming very curious about politics and fairness and justice and all that stuff. And I'm thinking, well, when do you tell a child the rest of the world doesn't live like us? There's a whole 4 billion people that live completely different standards, and they would just let their babies die on the side of the road.
Well, yeah, and that's, I think that, you know, there was some orphanages and stuff who were actually paying for baby, you know, to try to make sure that, you know, there was actually people who were making a living going around and buying abandoned babies to bring.
Yeah, and bringing them to the orphanages, and the orphanages would pay them $200.
Right.
I just watched this crazy documentary on it, and I was just so sad and so upsetting. But yeah, she's interested in learning all that stuff, and I didn't want to say that in front of her because she could hear me. And I'm gonna walk back in the kitchen now. Okay.
No, that's pretty heavy stuff. I honestly didn't know that. I didn't know what's going on.
I'll send you a link to that documentary. It was like, really
You know what? It's almost sometimes to be ignorant is bliss. What's going on in the world, but I definitely would be.
Also, ignorance doesn't fuel passion. You know, if you're going to make a difference and you want your children to like be in society as good people, then you got to like let them know the real deal.
Yeah, that's what you're a parent for, and I'm not.
Yeah. Well, you can do it with your students.
Something like that. You know, that's a tough one. I taught math. I kind of not a whole lot of. No, not a lot of pontificating in a math class, unless I get away with. David, you're a parent. That's a good question for David Deeds, much more than myself.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's horrible, but you know, when you put it in perspective, is it more horrible than when we bombed countries and killed babies? I mean, it's all horrible. It's all horrible.
It's all horrible. And then when you start having these conversations, like my little nephews that live on Nick's side of the family on the army base in Kentucky, they've already started playing soldier and playing army, and their dad's in the army, and they're so proud, and they're army strong, and they're all this and all that. But all the kids want to do is run around and kill each other with their little guns, and it's all so real. And, you know, what do you tell? They're 5, 6, 7. What do you tell a little kid about what is war really? And what really happens when it's not like a glorified game you're running around your apartment with AK-47 made of plastic. It's just really, you know, at some point they got to find out the real deal.
You know, I watched that series Waco yesterday, you know, and actually I watched the whole thing yesterday. You know, so it was about 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah,
it was disturbing.
Yeah,
absolutely disturbing. You know that all those kids were killed, and there was I think 16 or 17 small children that were killed in that.
Yeah.
No, it is a brutal world out there. That is the truth. And I still have I just need to shut up is what I need to do. Who else would like to come on the panel is what I would like to
It's hard to have a talk show and shut up, Patrick. I think it's kind of your moral obligation to not shut up.
No, don't put moral shit on me, please.
Where's Uncle Joe? He should come on.
You know what? You just asked, where's Uncle Joe? Here's Uncle Joe.
Oh, there he is.
Looking that
Look at
color looks
that.
good on you, old Joe.
Uncle Joe, are you wearing a jersey knit from Old Navy? What's going on with your wardrobe? I love this look.
This is my workout shirt.
I love that look on you.
This is a day I do 10 push-ups.
Oh, nice.
I think it's today. What is today? Thursday, yeah. It's my 10 push-ups. So I got to dress for it.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Well, that's exactly 10 more than I did.
Now it's a party.
Wardrobe, I love this.
Hello, sister.
Hi,
You
sweetheart.
can mute me.
This is the day I do 10 push-ups.
Nice.
Jennifer, can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
I think I have a loop going. God damn it.
Yeah, someone's got a loop.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I just muted Joe as a tech.
That's exactly 10 more than I did.
Now it's a party.
We'll do process of elimination.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to go off and come back.
Okay. Somebody has a loop going on. Someone has,
Jennifer, can you hear me?
I can hear you, David.
I think I have a loop going.
see, someone
Oh, so that was Uncle Joe.
no. I think it's Jennifer. Jennifer, do you have two things going at once? Close Facebook. We'll do process of elimination. It's you.
Are you double fisting? Do you have a cocktail in each hand?
Jennifer, if you can hear me, close down Facebook if you're watching it, because that's what's happening right now. Oh, David, too, your phone might be on something. David, I think you've got a funk 752.
I don't think so. I'll leave and see if it goes away.
Okay. Still got it.
Is it me?
Jennifer, if you can hear me, settle down Facebook if you're watching it, because that's what's happening right now.
How am I doing?
Just me and you right now. We'll have to figure this out here. I think we're good.
Is that working now?
I think it's working now.
Okay, good.
Okay,
Let me put in Donnie to see here.
all right, testing,
Yep.
testing.
Nope. Donnie, you got something funky going on. Go out, leave and come back. How about that? A few minor details.
I wanted to know what Keisha's Donnie was cooking.
Okay. I don't know. We'll ask her when she comes back on.
Joe, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Oh,
I hear
okay.
you perfect. I have an idea I want to run by Jennifer and Donnie, but I'll wait till Donnie comes back on.
Okay.
What'd you do today, Joe? Besides 10 push-ups.
I did my shopping today, about every second, third day. I got to go out and hit about 3 grocery stores to get everything I need.
Do your work, please.
I actually found some hand sanitizer today.
Is that better?
Yeah, but don't walk around, please.
Well, she's cooking. How can you know? Donnie, what
Oh,
kind of dishes are you making?
Oh, I got some mushroom and sun-dried tomato. quiche
Perfect. That looks
And
good.
with artichoke hearts. And it's just going to be like a frittata, actually. Nick doesn't like the crust. You know, he's very health conscious.
Oh, those are great.
Yeah. So I'm going to make some frittata. And then I got a crock pot over there with some vegan sausage with red beans and rice.
Ooh, yummy.
It's been on since about 9 o'clock this morning, so it smells good.
Perfect. I think Joe wanted to ask us a question.
Oh,
yeah.
I have an idea. If either one of you guys ever want to coordinate another family book,
Okay.
I have a topic.
What's the topic?
Okay, so I don't know what the title would be, but everybody would pick a chapter. It would be about adequacies. because
Etiquette.
etiquette. What's etiquette when you go to a yard sale? I've heard many Sis and Vicky, many people complain about, this is just wrong to do at yard sales.
My mom and sis would be great ones for that.
Yeah, and
I wrote a whole thing one time about the etiquettes of going to a movie. You don't take babies that cry. Don't spend 5 minutes unwrapping that cellophane thing right behind somebody.
Turn your phone off.
Andy, don't sit next to somebody when the theater is half full, a third full. I had a whole thing about driving on the highway.
Those could be
working out
fun.
at the gym. Anyway, everybody could pick a chapter.
I think that could
we
be
all have
fun, too.
feelings about all those things, like
Yeah.
driving, tailgating is one of my personal peeves, and the way that people fishtail in and out traffic, and the way that old people, when they're making a right turn into a parking lot, they slow down, make the turn, and then they come to a complete stop with their car halfway out on the road. And you think you got it timed to just kind of sit by them, and they come to a stop, and you got to slam on your brakes, and then they ease into the parking lot. For years, I've wanted to go into the parking lot and go up to one of them and say, "Why did you do that? Why did you stop as you're going into?" Anyway, I got a bunch of stuff like that. I could do 2 or 3 chapters myself.
That could be fun. Just with people going
What
to
grinds your gears? It could be what grinds your gears.
Yes,
just
Tim.
like people going into a 10 or 15 item list with a full cart in a grocery store.
Yeah, well, there could be a whole one around grocery stores. People that park their cart in the middle of the aisle,
Parking the
there's
handicap.
something on the shelf, and you can't get by them. People that leave their carts in a parking space. You think you found a perfect parking place? It's in the shade. You go to pull in, and there's a shopping cart parked.
That happens to us all the time out here because we have so many senior citizens. They just don't walk to put their carts back. That could be a fun way to go, Joe. I would do it. Everybody take a
You
chapter on
should
something
have
that pisses them off.
Joanna could do on
Something to think
golf.
about. What grinds your gears?
Going in this spot.
So, Patrick, we got a lot of food for thought for tomorrow night's political show today.
Yep, we do.
It got a little lively today.
We'll save that for tomorrow night, though.
I'm
I'm gonna go around. Someone's clicking and popping, so I'm gonna try to figure it out. It's Donnie.
Now you can't hear her.
Donnie's dead.
Oh, the mic's dead.
because she's clicking and popping. See?
Cooking.
Was that bad?
Nope.
Am I popping and clicking?
Yep, you're popping and clicking.
Okay, I'm gonna go watch it on Facebook. You guys take.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got to go get dinner ready. Nice to see you guys.
Nice seeing you. Take care. Oh, so what's going on, Joe?
Crap. So it's up to us.
Yeah, we're on the spot here. It's not that bad. We'll be okay.
Getting tired of this heat.
Oh, today was beautiful up here, man. It was warm and sunny but 70 probably.
Yeah, and it's going to rain up there this weekend.
So you check the weather on us up here, huh? I like that.
Yeah, they talked about a big storm coming into California this weekend. It showed the radar, and all the green is from Eureka up to Oregon. Just solid, deep green. I think it's Saturday. But
Oh, that's good. I'll enjoy it. Because right when it rains right now and it's sunny the next day, the growth is just incredible.
I think we've literally had about 4 rainy days since first of the year. That's it.
So what's the snowpack like up in the Sierra? Didn't they get a lot of snow though this year, or is that?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. They got a lot of snow, but not much rain in the valley. All the storms just kind of hovered over the mountains.
Yeah, I think that snowpack's real important for the future, at least for the year.
That'll help the water. That helps
Yeah.
the water tables more so than the rain, or at least as much.
Keeps the lakes and the reservoirs full.
In the rivers. Keeps the rivers flowing all summer long.
Yeah, and I hope we don't have fires. I hope it's not a bad fire year up here. Or
You know what? That reminds me. I think I would love to hear a story from Nick. About what it's like to fight a fire from a helicopter. I think that would be fascinating subject matter, because most of us are affected by fires, and they're very important. Very important.
yeah, everything about flying a helicopter is interesting.
No, yeah, I think so.
Just go for a little ride in one time. Just go 100 feet off the ground and back down. I'd be happy.
Yeah, I don't think it's real intuitive. I think I don't know. I've read a little bit about it, but
Yeah, it's funny now. Anymore with the fires, you start thinking. It used to be, are we going to have a fire this year? And now it's more, where's it going to be?
yeah, and I think they can even figure that out pretty quickly. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, and then if they got to fight a fire with this quarantine going on, that makes it even more complicated.
Yeah.
Especially if you have to evacuate into centers. It's going to be interesting too. What down here, they pretty much got most of the homeless now in shelters, hotels and motels. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when the virus is done and they have to leave. How is that going to end up? Is Chico the homeless? Are they still walking streets? Or are they housed?
Well, I never go through town. I haven't been through town in weeks, and that's usually where they hang out. So if they were, that's where they'd be. So I don't know, but they're still here. I know that. I don't know where they're hanging out. Used to be downtown in the park. I know there's more of them in the Bidwell Park along the creeks now. They've decided to allow them to have their campsites, and it's kind of a problem. I don't know. I kind of stay out of it because I can't find an answer. People got to be somewhere. They have a right to exist. So right now they're allowing them to be up to 10 people in a space. So all these old swimming places along the creek, they're all homeless campsites. Well, that's one thing, but then you get people going out there posting pictures of the mountains of trash and plastic, and it's in the creek and it's all over the ground. And we never used to have that in Chico. It used to always be clean, especially in the park. Now the park is trashed.
That is, when I lived there, it seemed it was just, there was just maybe starting, but I think it's gotten a lot worse. Well, that's a tough problem. How is that? Is that a solvable problem? What would you do about something like that?
Well, to me, the problem isn't solvable by any one city, because the more one city does, if all the cities around it don't do the same thing, then build it and they will come. So I know Becky told me years ago that happened in Santa Cruz. They got a rural liberal city council, and they started doing all these services, needle programs and food and all this stuff for homeless. All the homeless came in from all around Santa Cruz, flooded the city, and then it got to where you couldn't go downtown. There was needles in the parks and on the beach, and that's kind of happened in Chico. Chico's gone out of its way to accommodate homeless people, but Orville hasn't, Corning hasn't, Orland hasn't. So now we're getting the whole North Valley. They're all coming into Chico. So any solution my feeling is it needs to be a nationwide solution, and that's partly why, not to get into politics, but partly why I consider myself a Democrat socialist, because I think we need more money coming back to the people that paid the money in the first place to benefit us. So
Okay,
if we have more of that and less military spending, less bailing out of big corporations.
okay, let's try to get, okay, but what would be like, how would it, what would be a solution, if we could do it? Just
Well,
more.
I think you gotta bring back, you gotta have more prisons for crime. You gotta have more mental institutions, because a good percentage of these people that out there, they really need to be institutionalized. You've got to have more programs for dealing with drug addiction. And, a lot of people would go to a program, but they can't afford it, or they don't have the insurance. You've got to have job training programs. So if you could, in every city in the country, if you could take every homeless person and say, look, you need to go to one of these places. You're going to go to job training, or you're going to go to a mental institution, or you're going to go to a recovery program, or we're going to help you with this or that, whatever that particular need is. We have to do it, because we're spending more on ourselves to make our society better, our cities better, more on infrastructure, and less money going out to the 1%.
Okay, what do you
To
think,
me,
Dave?
that's how it can be done, but we're nowhere near. We don't have the will. We don't have the political will. The rich and powerful, they're not going to allow that to happen.
I think you're starting to see a change in that. Until it actually affects you personally, you kind of ignore the problem. And I know down here in Huntington Beach, the homeless was always here because the weather's nice, and they kind of stayed away. But, lately now they've kind of taken over downtown. They're sleeping on the beach and leaving their trash. They're in parks, so now people are walking or jogging or trying to go downtown, and it's affecting them personally. Now, all of a sudden, they want this solved. So maybe it's going to take it to get worse before it gets better. I like what you say about that. Those options need to be there. I know down here sometimes what will happen is they offer these things to the homeless, and there's a majority of the homeless that don't want to be off the street. That's a way of life. They enjoy it, and they don't want to be told what to do. And the ACLU will come in and say, no, you can't force them into a program. So I don't know what you do about that.
Well, right. There's a percentage that want to be homeless. I think it's a small percentage. And yeah, you don't need to force anybody into anything, and unless they're a criminal, then you force them into jail. But yeah, you got to have those options, and that takes money. And we're broke, and we're the richest country in the world, and we can't take care of our homeless problem. We can't. When's the last time we built a major interstate highway or built a dam or anything like that in this country? It all happened in the 50s and 60s. We don't do it anymore because
there's a lot
robbed our money. What's that?
So there's a lot of vacated military bases that could be used for homeless shelters and education and schools. But as soon as you try to force those homeless and say you need to go here, all hell breaks loose. No, you can't force them to do that. They have rights too. So I don't know where that line is drawn at.
Well, if they have options, like if you have the option to go to a rehab, I'm sure a percentage of them will take it, the drug addicts. If you have an option to go to an institution where you can get help for your mental problems, and maybe the ones that are really crazy, they shouldn't have an option. They just need to be put in there, because they're dangerous not only to other people, they're dangerous to themselves. You hear the stories every day.
I think that used to be a standard at one point, but that's not an easy problem to solve. I gotta think.
You could go back to who's causing the problems with the drug addiction. You can talk about the prescription opiates. Should those pharmaceutical companies bear some of that cost? They caused the problem. Should they bear the cost of helping to solve the problem?
Absolutely, yeah. It's multi-level. Yeah, a good part of it is drugs, but a lot of it is just old-fashioned organic mental health issues. I know, yeah. We used to have Patton State Hospital until Reagan came in as governor and closed that down.
Let's talk about family stories, because this will be slip right into politics a little bit too quickly. And there's
Put a bookmarker in it till tomorrow night.
there you go. There you go. Yeah, what stories? Let's talk about stories. Gratefulness. I like that one.
Well, speaking of the mental health issue, didn't Uncle Dan worked in Patton State Hospital, didn't he?
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's where did Carol work there too?
Yeah, I think they met there. And if Scott's listening, he might know. I think
Mom
they
worked there.
I remember hearing stories as a very small child, 10, 11, 12 years old, and he'd talk about the cells and the padded cells, and people, and all of those people were severely, mentally disturbed, and they just were kind of let out onto the streets.
I think it had something to do with they were coming up with new psychotropic drugs that were supposedly the miracle cures, and and in fact that's probably what's wrong with a lot of our medical is pills are a lot easier to hand out to make people feel okay, as is finding a cure to their problems. And most of it's probably diet. I think and the environment caused a lot of our health problems, I believe. Who knows what's in our water anymore? And we bring that along on ourselves. But again, almost anything can get political so quickly.
Well,
yeah.
that's why politics is such an important part of our lives. When people say they're not political and they don't like to talk politics, I get that, but I hope they at least understand that politics governs how we live our lives. We elect politicians to make the rules that tell us what we can and can't do, and how politicians act is politics.
Hey, Mom, how you doing?
Yes, funny.
Hello, Janice.
Hi, Janice.
Hi.
Hey,
Well,
growing
you
up, Patton
talked.
State
You wanted to
Hospital
know
scared
about
me.
family, and Scott's on there, but his mom and dad, Danny and Carol, both worked at Patton. She was an RN. She just graduated from that Catholic nursing college in San Diego, and Danny was a technician, and that's where they met. And they may have known each other before. Like her sister and I were best friends for years. I mean, we knew the but anyway, yeah, they were both working there. I think that's where they met.
Okay, you worked there, didn't you?
Yeah, we had County Hospital. I worked in the mental health department at County. We had Patton. San Bernardino is the largest county in America, so the county hospitals were huge, and they took care of that. But when Reagan did away with all of that.
I'm muting you because I think you're puppet. No, that's maybe it's David. It's David's pop.
I'm not cooking or anything.
No, David was popping there for a minute.
Oh, okay.
Just trying to figure that out. So what are you up to today, Mom and Chico? Hot there?
Warm. Yeah, I cleaned out closets today. I'm ready to take anxious to go on a drive and go down the street 3 blocks and put all old clothes in a dumpster. Not much going on. Dan does a lot of yard work. We have the most beautiful lawn in the whole world because that's what he does. And I just keep cleaning. I wanted to tell Dawn I made some homemade bread yesterday. I think my granddaughter Amelia asked about it also. It was a recipe she put up, and it was really good. Turned out well. I wanted to thank her for that.
Okay, good. Can you keep the camera still though?
Okay, so what family stories do you want to hear about?
What about Uncle Joe? What do you remember about Uncle Joe when he was little?
Oh, Uncle Joe. Oh my goodness. Yeah, he was a surprise second family that came along after we moved to California. And we were all at St. Bernardine's in school, and Joe was just adored. And we used to take him to school, and the nuns would let Celeste take off a day because she was going to take care of her baby brother. And he was just really loved and adored. And then Mike came along, and then they all started coming along, coming along, coming along. And Joe was just one of many. But when he was born, he was the first one of that second family, because there's like how many years between Carol and Joe?
Well, Mike was actually Mike's a year older than me.
I know. Yeah, that's right. He was, oh, he is. He was born in September that year.
Mike and
Yeah,
Bunny
she was
were
very
both
pregnant
before
when we
me.
moved out here in August. And Jim and Phyllis was, yeah, she was like, she had him in September. I remember they lived in a little motel over on Mount Vernon when Mikey was a baby. And then you were born the following December. Yeah, Mike was probably, he was, everyone adored him. Well, they were all beautiful babies, but I remember you were very, very beautiful little redheaded boy, and everybody loved you and took care of you. And then Sis came along, and you were so sweet and shy, and Sis would beat the hell out of you, and she was tougher than nails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't
She
hear
was
that
always
part before.
always fighting your battles. Oh gosh, those were the days.
Yeah, Sis was brutal on me, but she would say the same thing about me.
No, I saw that one picture of, it was an old picture of my mom, and she was the youngest, and it was Donna, Khaki, my mom, and someone else. But Khaki was quite a stunner, wasn't she?
A what?
That khaki, I thought that was Joyce.
Oh, the one I just put out recently where I'm at the end? That
Yeah.
was Donna, Khaki, and me.
And Danny.
There's only three of us.
Danny.
Danny.
Oh, Danny was there. Yeah, Donna and Danny and Khaki and me. That was one of my old photos I found.
I thought that was Joyce too, but Khaki was a tall, good-looking woman, wasn't she?
She looked like Jacqueline Kennedy. She was exquisitely beautiful. Yeah. Very dark, very different looking from the rest of us. We kind of all looked alike except for Khaki. And Terry. Terry was different looking. Yep. That was, she was probably 14 or 15 then.
What do you remember about my mom, Janice, Uncle Joe?
We don't need to get into all that.
No, we don't need to get into that.
Okay. You do remember
I remember Joe, how Joe treated you when you were a little boy. He hung dollar bills on the tree and told you that money grew on trees. He hung candy bars on the trees and told you that candy bars grew on trees. That made it real easy for me.
I think Joe has a story where he'd be playing with me all day. When you come home, I go crying to you. Joe's mean to me. Joe's mean to me.
Yeah.
Joe's mean to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I came home with you.
I think little kids do that. I remember when Ben and Ray were about 3-4 years old. I don't remember why, but they spent the night with me and Vicky one night, and I don't know, we were trying to show them a good time. Maybe we were babysitting, but I remember I could hear Ben in the next room calling his mom, and he started crying. He said, "You got to come pick me up. They're being really mean to me over here." I think kids just do that. Brady had this thing he used to do he had a sense of humor, but he'd do it as a joke. When Brady was 3-4 years old, we'd be in a grocery store, and Brady would kind of give me that look, and then he'd go, "Ow, Dad, don't do that. Ow, I'm sorry." So I'd look around, "Brady, I didn't touch you." He goes, "I know."
Oh, the kids. The kids.
Well, I remember when Scotty was a little boy. Let's see, he was a year older than Patrick, and he would come up to Cherry Valley, and you and Scotty always played together. But one time, Scotty, I think it was Scotty, I'm sure it was. He cracked the patio door, threw a rock or something. And I think Dad was just getting tired of me and you being there. And he used to blame you for everything at that time. He was usually really kind, and it made me so mad because whatever he did, it was totally Scotty's fault. And I remember he got very angry with Patrick, which is really rare because he always treated you wonderful. And I thought, that's not right. Scotty did that.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You got to be careful there.
Oh.
Well, it's funny how a lot of our relationships, how they kind of flip after you grow up. You know, the way you related to a sibling growing up and even as teenagers. And then after you're grown up, you know, like Sis and I went from being mortal enemies to best friends. Danny was like a stranger to me until I was about 20, and then we became like real brothers.
Yeah, I mean, our family was so crazy, and it was like two separate families. Now, what would Terry possibly know about my brother Jim? I mean, Mom was having babies with her daughters. A lot of, you know, Terry has a lot of nieces and nephews that are much, much older than her. I mean, it's weird. You know, like Terry and Sis always called Mom and Dad Grandma and Grandpa because that's what everybody else called them. It was kind of unusual.
Yeah, to me, my older sisters were like aunts.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
like aunts because I never lived with a lot of views. I don't remember ever Donna or
No,
Joy,
they were long gone. Yeah.
Jackie
Well,
ever
they got
being in
married
the
soon
house.
after you were born. Yeah. But I want to tell you, Celeste, if Robert's listening, he asked once, does Celeste know about this show? She does know about it. And Patrick kindly gave her a beautiful brand new iPad. And I heard that she watched it once. And I've tried to call her recently and she's not responding to my calls. I must try again later. But yeah, she's very aware of it, but she's not the same Celeste we all remembered. She's having a little bit of difficulty with things. So I don't know if she's watching or not. Does my brother Danny know about this show?
Yes.
Oh, he does? He won't get on?
Well, he talked to, actually called me the other day, and what he said was that the way his house is set up, it's real big and open, and that it's just noisy in his house, and he's waiting, I guess. That's his excuse.
What? He's what? He can't be alone in the house?
No, he's just waiting for it to be a quiet time.
Oh, quiet time.
So.
Oh my God, it's only he and his wife.
Oh, they got a wife.
I
That must be noisy.
I think Danielle's mom spends a lot of time there too.
Yeah, she does.
Does Danielle ever get on?
She has been for a quick minute. Yeah. I remember her. Joe has a faithful cat that just loves you, doesn't it, Joe?
She's always here, always close by. Bugs me all
I had
my.
a Tiffany lamp just like that one. When I moved, it cracked, and I think I gave it to Khaki. Same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I love my lamp.
Well, I got on kind of late, but hi to everybody, and now I got to go start dinner.
Well, thank you. We've been cutting the show down short anyways because you know, we might as well, you know, get on it, and that's okay. So we've been gone about it.
I think an hour is probably good for everybody.
I like that. I'm going to paste the link for one more chance if anyone wants to ask Joe or myself or Isabel any questions. We will answer them. Other than that, we'll just we'll save it for another day. So you're going to come tomorrow night, aren't you?
What's that?
Will we see you tomorrow night?
Yeah. 8:00, right?
8:00. I hope it's no, I think, you know, I would love Jeff Hawk. Donnie was getting in touch with Jeff Hawk. He's a very interesting guy. I like Brandon. I like some of the younger guys. Yeah.
Brandon's a pretty bright guy. I would love to talk to him too. I have a feeling we would agree on almost everything, but he probably understands it all a little deeper than I do.
Yeah, well, we understand things through our filters for sure that we've accumulated throughout our lives. But anyone else come to think of it that you would like to, because I like to see a balance, and everybody actually is. There's nobody who's cookie cutter from each other. So even you and I could probably disagree on a lot of things. I'm sure of that.
Probably.
But I always like getting get other people on here with which have much different views than we do.
There's a few of those.
So anybody, yeah, if you can think of anybody. But having said that, is there anything else you want to get off your chest?
I'm good. Is there anybody else watching even?
I want to do that thing with you again. Okay, I'm going to pick a number between 1 and 100.
I got a card trick I'm going to run by you. Maybe we'll do it on tomorrow's show.
Okay.
I'm looking for a deck of cards, but as soon as I find a deck of cards around here, this will be a pretty good one.
I'm going to be a little bit rebellious tomorrow, and I'm getting a haircut. I have it arranged with my hairdresser.
I was trying to get a haircut a month before the quarantine started, and I couldn't arrange it. And so I'm like 3 months overdue right now.
I might be a little aggressive with it tomorrow. We'll see. I'll see how I'm feeling in the morning. 10 in the morning, I get it. So tomorrow we'll come on at 4 for another hour or so. And
Okay.
hey, take care, Joe. Thanks for coming on. Anybody else? Other than that, we'll just say vaya con Dios, adios. We'll finish it up now. James A would say, see ya. I wouldn't want to be ya. Peace. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night. Thanks for coming in.